Parental Involvement by Aaron Lancaster. In my fifth video, I'm going to be discussing how parental involvement can affect their child's athletic development. There are many different benefits of youth sport, such as higher confidence, increased creativity, improved weight status, and increase in cardiorespiratory and muscular fitness. FCSFN Science Board 2020. As a result of there being many different benefits to youth sport, it also means that parents will have a significant influence on the participation level. Parents can influence their child in many different ways, as suggested Bonavolonta et al. 2021. They are responsible for many aspects of their child's lives, such as transport, access, education, emotional and economic support. Due to the abundance of areas that parents are involved in, it is quite easy for them to neglect some of these areas and prioritise some others, or even neglect them all. There are many different benefits for parental involvement, as stated in Olson and Fuller 2017, which can be transferred from everyday life to sports. For example, junior high and high school students whose parents remain involved usually make better transitions and are less likely to drop out of school. This can be transferred to sports, as if their parents stay involved with their child's sport, it is more likely for them to make the correct decision and less likely for them to drop out. However, this could create a drawback to parental involvement as well. From past experience of playing and coaching, I have been in situations where parents are too involved, and it has a negative effect on the player, as they can be nervous pre, during and post-training or competitions due to the pressure to perform of parents. Another benefit to parental involvement can be as simple as the advertisement and publicity of youth sport, as suggested in Mabong 2017, when they discuss parental involvement in youth sport and physical activities. Having parents involved in youth sport can increase the publicity of the team or sport in many different ways. One that most players will know about is a simple bake sale, where all the parents bake cakes, snacks to sell and raise funds and publicise for the club and their team the child plays for. In my opinion, I do not believe that there are any drawbacks to parental involvement when it comes to publicity of the sport or the team, as it is important for teams and clubs to grow and develop so that the players can improve and become the best that they can be. One factor that parents put in place, which can either benefit or hinder their child's development, is where they were born. This is called the birthplace effect. Mayan et al. 2022. This can be very confusing and somewhat ridiculous to some people when they hear it for the first time, as it was for me. But when the birthplace effect is correctly explained, I find it very fascinating and enlightening. Cote et al. 2007 speaks about different advantages and disadvantages of living in urban areas or small cities. These are potential access to a larger number of resources, e.g. arenas and specialised coaching, more likely to practice their sport in a structured setting as a league which is monitored by coaches with specific practice times and games. Urban athletes who live within a more densely populated and structured environment usually find themselves playing opponents and having teammates who are relatively the same age, ability and size. However, in the smaller city, they have access to better facilities and more sports, whereas individuals in smaller cities are more likely to engage in games without the structure of an urban setting. Also, there might be a greater diversity in player size and ability in small cities, since all the children from the neighbourhood gather to play together independent of age and ability. Access to facilities, different sports and economic state are just a few areas that are a result of the birthplace effect that can influence sporting athletes and essentially be a deciding factor on whether they make it professionally or not. To conclude, in my opinion, as a coach and a player, Parents have considerable influence over their child's development as an athlete and as a person, so it is important that the triad of parent, coach and player know what they all need to do to work effectively and efficiently to get the best out of the athlete. My next video is going to follow on nicely from this, as I'm going to speak about the battle of nature versus nurture.